Hi, I'm Marina Curtis, and you're going boldly with Beyond Trek podcast.
This is Beyond Trek Podcast, your source for Star Trek on social media and around the web. I'm Big J.
I'm Watney.
And I'm Dag, the Trivia Master. You can find us on Facebook at Beyond Trek Podcast and on Twitter at Beyond Trek Pod.
A red alert.
Show us your hat. Show us your hat.
That is a nice hat.
This is my Niners cap.
Ooh.
Gorgeous.
And I'm going to get... We can talk about this while we're recording. I don't even know. Are we recording? Anyway,
Oh, heck yeah, we're recording.
We'll edit out this fun stuff. Get straight to the fun. No.
I'm going to get Niners 25 on the back over here.
Okay.
Because that was Aaron Eisenberg's number as Nog
Oh,
in that
nice.
episode. Take me out to the Hollow Suite.
I like that.
I feel like I'm too low. I need to be higher. There we go.
Just don't fall out of your chair.
We like to see your uniform. We know that.
Yeah, that's why I want to show it off.
You and Jay always outdo me here. I'm just the beanie girl.
Well,
Hey.
I mean, you've got uniforms, we got you Star Trek beanies, all this stuff, but you don't participate.
Okay, I'll tell you again. The Star
You got a
Trek
big head?
beanie was too small for my noggin, for my noodle, for my dome.
You know what you could do?
It looked awkward. It was like just...
Could you stitch two of them together?
Good.
No, okay, so Watney, just cut a slit up the back, hem it, and then put some eyelets in there and then lace it so you could have like a little corset down the back.
Oh. Were you writing that down?
No. Lore's looking at me like, what the
I could do that.
All right,
It would probably not look good. I'll talk to you about it later.
we should probably get down to business because I'm sure the
Huns must be defeated. Wait.
the few of the people that are listening are probably thinking, are these guys going to actually talk about anything of substance? Yes.
Yes. Everybody, 2 days. Today is Monday, then Tuesday, and then Wednesday, and then Thursday. Okay, so I guess 3 days ish.
2 plus.
In a little over 48 hours, if we're going to go that detailed.
Yep.
Star Trek Lower Decks premieres in the US and Canada. No word yet on how it's going to appear elsewhere. Mike McMahon says there's hope. I don't really know what that's supposed to mean, but let's get this show on the road. Welcome to Beyond Trek Podcast. These are my esteemed co-hosts.
I'm Watney.
I'm Big J.
And I'm
so
Dag.
glad you're here. Yes. I'm so glad you're here. Sorry. To cut you
And this
Damn it, Watney.
off. I know. We have to work up the intro.
we don't need it. Where we're going, we don't need intros. This is everything you need to know about Star Trek's. Why do I always plural it there? Star Trek Lower Decks. I don't know.
Sorry, everyone. We're out of practice.
It's only been a little while. Hey, so spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about everything you need to know about Star Trek Lower Decks, including information from the trailers and teasers. So if you don't want to hear that, sorry, but you started this program and now you have to finish
and then
it.
tune back in later.
Watch those things because they're hilarious. I'm excited. Star Trek.
We're an animated Trek show. The only other one has been the animated series, right?
Yeah, and it's like
That was 74.
6 years old. Yeah. So, Star Trek Lower Decks, the executive producer is Alex Kurtzman. Everybody knows him from other things, but most recently and Trek-related, Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Picard. It was created by Mike McMahon from Rick and Morty fame, so there's definitely going to be some very interesting themes running throughout this show. And the writing team is M. Willis, Chris Kula, Ben Rogers, Ann Kim, and David Wright. And I just really want to point out how cool Ann Kim is here with her Star Trek expert ball cap on. And if you're listening, I love you already. And I just cropped this photo for this presentation about 10 minutes ago.
Can I be the first one to say that I was a little weary about the whole Rick and Morty vibe coming in?
I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's just, there's something about, now I know Rick and Morty has its fan base and its whole thing. My son Nacho loves that show, and I haven't watched a whole lot of it. And I'm glad that Star Trek is going to the animated route. It's just taking Star Trek, even if it's silly Trek, because Dag, you called it silly Trek the other night, which is great. But there's something about the Rick and Morty vibe and taking that to mash it with Star Trek, even if it's going to be silly, that just makes me a little, I don't know. Am I the only one?
No. I'm giggling because Dag is over there smiling like
I'm just so excited about this.
Okay, it's exciting.
It really is. I share your trepidation, Jay. Rick and Morty was not something that I thought I could get into, but as irreverent as that show is to pretty much everything, I'm totally okay with it. I don't think Star Trek is gonna be irreverent per se. I don't think Lower Decks is going to be as irreverent. I think it's going to be a side of Star Trek that we've never seen before. We're literally, as viewers, we are going boldly where no viewer has gone before. We're looking at, the not so utopian underbelly of Star Trek, not necessarily like scary stuff, but these are people who are a little bit out of their depth, and they're not the experts who get to serve aboard the flagships that we get to see in previous shows.
Right. Yeah, because not everyone can serve on the Enterprise or the Voyager, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, but this is supposed to be the least important ship in Starfleet, with the least important crew, with doing the least important things. But I'm sure we'll see them doing very important things, because otherwise, how could you have a show? I think with in terms of the billing for production, creation, and writing, I think you guys hit on it a little bit already, but Rick and Morty fans are kind of notorious, and this is nothing against Nacho or you, Dag, but as a group, the rabid fans are notorious for being assholes. They're very much, you have to have a high IQ to understand Rick and Morty. You're an idiot if you don't get it. That kind of group. So pretty toxic. Yeah.
So we're gonna take that and mesh it with Trek fans.
Yeah. Well, and it's like the people who are huge fans of Rick and Morty, who are in that toxic group, some of them will probably come over to Trek, and they're gonna find Alex Kurtzman.
Oh, I guarantee
who is like the opposite of the spectrum that these their opinions fall on. Master of inclusion and diversity in all things. And so infinite combinations and infinite, isn't that what it is?
IDIC, infinite diversity,
IDIC.
and infinite combination.
Yeah. So they're gonna get Rick is like such a psycho, and they're gonna come over to Trek, and maybe they'll get a little bit of that. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how the two fan bases kind of mesh.
Well, this is what it's going to look like, because with this show and the Trek fan base already. So Lower Decks currently holds the record for the most hated unaired Star Trek series, which was previously owned by Picard, which took it from Discovery, which took that title from Enterprise, that dethroned Voyager, which yanked it from Deep Space Nine, that stole it from Next Generation. Okay, so you see where I'm going. Basically, every unaired Star Trek series is just... Dag looked like you blue screened on me. He's just... I locked him up.
I see you.
So you're saying that every Star Trek that's come out since the original series has basically inherited the ultra heavyweight hater belt.
Yes, that belt has been consistently passed down. So yes, now Lower Decks has the belt.
Except for Axanar.
Hey,
Dare I say?
can I mute Watney?
You guys are.
That depends if you ran a podcast between the years that everybody was like, why did Axanar do this to us?
Mm-hmm.
Axanar was really good. I love Axanar. I love, and don't get me wrong, I love Trek fans. I think that we are some of the coolest people. I've met some of the coolest Trek fans. Some of the coolest fans and people I know are Trek fans, because Star Trek is not about space. Space is the frame, and the picture is like philosophy and character development and relationships and those types of like interactions and development. And space is just like the fun background that takes place in. And so you have people who are capable of really, really amazing, intense conversations about the philosophy and like getting down, to the assassination of the characters like we were doing for Picard. So I think, the majority of Trek fans are like us, but there's always going to be the vocal group of Trek fans.
Right.
They're never going away. We got to just hug them.
And it is kind of sad too, because the whole concept of negative marketing is also out there. So it's really hard to divide who are the people that have legit concerns about Star Trek's, follow-ups to the series, who don't like it so much, and who are these, these angry negative marketers that are trying to generate just knowledge spreading by being really negative about the show in general and latching onto anything that has a sense of negativity there. It's very unfortunate. And, we'd like to hope, I think that I kind of speak for all of us, that we're sort of in the critical, we think pretty deeply into the themes that we talk about. We don't agree with everything, but we also sit here and say Star Trek is Star Trek and we're going to go with it.
Right.
And I kind of like that. Yeah, we don't even agree with everything between the three of us. There's definitely things there's definitely things, Mass Effect, that really, they do kind of come between us, but we don't let that divide the three of us from being here, talking about Star Trek, throwing our ideas out there, and seeing what the listeners, make of that, what their feedback is. I love it. I love this whole thing. It's been a great year.
It has been.
It has.
It's our June 29th. Is that what I said it was our 1 year that we totally did. We even say anything about what happened today. So
it's our 13th month.
Yeah, something like that. So we're going to be talking about Lower Decks, and it's going to be a marathon because we have Lower Decks. That's 10 episodes, right? And then as soon as that's done, we go right into season 3 of Discovery. So we're going to have, you're going to have a lot of Beyond Trek podcasts for the next few weeks. But what's your next slide, Dag? We're going to see who's in this
23 weeks of Star Trek. All right, so on the next slide here, we're going to talk about the characters. We're going to get to know who these people are, who's playing them, and where you might have seen them around before. The 4 characters' names are Devon Attendee, our Orion; Sam Rutherford, our cybernetic human; Mariner Beckett; and Brian Boimler, who is, he's going to be like, I think he's going to be a little Morty-ish in the beginning, but I love the humor there.
He looks like Morty, like in
a little bit. Yeah. So playing Mariner Beckett.
So I'm not surprised. It's the same guy writing the whole thing.
Like Tawny Newsome plays Mariner Beckett.
Why does that name sound familiar?
Mariner Beckett?
No, Tawny Newsome, who plays the character.
Oh, well, Tawny started in bajillion-dollar properties, but you might have seen her on Space Force as everybody's favorite helicopter pilot turned astronaut.
Okay. Space Force, yes.
I love Space Force.
Good show, by the way.
Yeah, that was a great show. She's also a host on a podcast called Yo, Is This Racist? And guest of Comedy Bang Bang. Okay. She performs in the band Four Lost Souls. They had an album out in 2017. And she says of her character, Mariner Beckett, that she's ahead of the curve and goofs off because she can.
All right.
So-
Yeah, we kind of got that from the trailer. If you've seen the
Yeah.
trailer, which if you don't like spoilers, we already told you, get out and then come back.
I know.
But yeah, on Wikipedia, Tawny says about Mariner that she's very good at all things Starfleet. She just doesn't care, and she's been demoted several times. She also added that she just wants to ride her skateboard and eat her piece of pizza in peace, man. So that's great. It's interesting that we're like literally going to be watching a Star Trek show about the people who just don't give a shit.
I love it. That's why I want to see it.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting you say she's been demoted several times. That could mean that she might have reached a rank up to like lieutenant commander and then lost it and got demoted back to ensign. That'd be something. That'd be a backstory.
Or she went from ensign to junior grade lieutenant, back down to junior grade,
Yeah.
lieutenant, back down again.
Up
or,
to
you know,
down,
up and
back.
down.
Yeah.
Finally, they stuck her at ensign. They were like, here you are. No more.
Can you imagine
The
that?
ensign for life, like Harry.
Well, yeah, because Tom Paris went from junior grade lieutenant to ensign and then got his promotion back again on Voyager. So, Mariner Beckett, is she going to be kind of like the main character of the lower decks crew of ensigns?
I think she's going to be our lower decks plot driver.
The plot driver. Okay.
And hopefully as we go over the rest of these characters, that'll come to be a little more obvious. You know, even of the lower decks people, you got to have somebody who sort of pushes those other lower decks people forward or backward or off a cliff.
Is her first name Mariner?
That's the character's first name, Mariner. And Watney, wasn't it you that pointed out the whole MB Michael Burnham thing? Mariner Beckett, Michael Burnham, MB.
Yeah, I did. She's just giving me the vibes. Yeah, who knows? I don't know.
It's Michael Beckett
It's
returned from the
opposite.
32nd century.
It's the opposite of Michael because just the personality is completely different.
Oh yeah. This is not the kid who was raised on Vulcan.
Michael does the most and Mariner does the least. So we love to see it.
Which includes somehow getting a nice and shiny batleth from an old guy with an eye patch. Martok. Excuse me.
Maybe.
Who's next?
Go.
Let's see.
Go. Who's next?
There we
Jack
go.
Quaid's next.
Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid.
And I don't know if anybody recognizes him immediately, but the biggest thing that he has been in lately is The Boys on Amazon Prime. He's Huey Campbell.
Good show. Another
Okay.
good show. The Boys.
Remind me, was he an American Horror Story or is that a different guy I'm thinking of?
I haven't watched American Horror Story. I don't know.
Neither have I. I've heard of it.
But while you're looking it up, I can tell you that he started off as Marvel in The Hunger Games. He did a voice role in Shadow of Mordor. He also appeared in Logan Lucky before showing up in The Boys. He's from LA. He's also the only son of actress Meg Ryan and actor Dennis Quaid,
And
which I think is kind of cool.
Oh, Evan Peters. They look so similar.
you know what's...
Don't they?
Yeah, I can
I'd have
see
to
it.
look at a picture of him.
I'll post a
Someone the other day we were talking about Jack Quaid, and this was funny. So he looks like if you take that, you know how you have those mashup pictures where you take this person and what would their child look like, kind of thing, but that he looks exactly like that, which is very unnatural. So I don't know. I'm not sure that I'd see that, but yeah, I mean, you could definitely tell he's a Quaid in a row.
Yeah, If you can't imagine Evan Peters off the top of your head, that's Quicksilver from the new X-Men films.
Oh, okay. I can see where you see that.
Yeah. They look so similar.
A little bit.
I
And
thought
he
it was the same guy. It's not. Interesting. This guy, Brian Boimler, what a name. He has purple hair, so he's obviously the main character. He's described by his voice actor Jack as a stickler for the rules and will need to learn how to improvise if he's going to become captain one day.
Mm-hmm.
He's the type of dude that would nail the written portion of the driving test with flying colors, but once it actually got to him being in the car, it would be a complete and total disaster.
So basically, he's the guy
love him.
that's being pulled by the collar by the plot driver.
Yeah, he's the foil to Beckett.
Mariner Beckett.
Yeah.
He's the foil to her. So
He's the Boy Scout.
they'll be
She's the one getting in trouble.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I like the dynamic.
Right on. Next on our list is Eugene Cordero as Ensign Sam Rutherford, our resident cyborg and Sokka impersonator. I'm just going with that from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Eugene Cordero is currently starring in Tacoma FD. He was also a regular on Other Space and Bajillion Dollar Properties. He's also been featured in A Good Place, appeared in Kong Skull Island, and Ghostbusters. He's also appeared on Comedy Bang Bang. He's done voice work for Steven Universe and Bob's Burger, and had a little cameo in The Mandalorian. He's from Detroit. And he says of Sam Rutherford that Sam is the person you want in your trivia team. He is the technobabbler who is obsessed with tech.
Now, if you can take him and Dag, the trivia master, put them together, or if they had a child together, it'd be the perfect trivia tech person.
Oh yeah. Almost has the same haircut because you have yours like shaved on the side.
Yeah. Superior genes. Got it. I accept this as headcanon.
Is he going to be your favorite character?
He's going to be like the reasonable guy. Like the capably reasonable one. Not the scared one. I think Brian will be like the scared one. And then Sam is going to be like, but here's how we actually get this done. He's going to be the capable one. He's described a lot like Geordi. They're both amazing at engineering stuff. This is what the show creator McMahon compares him to. And but he's not going to solve problems like Geordi because he's still an ensign. He's still learning things. So
yeah. I think he's going to be like, initially, he's going to be our siloed character who's like, well, if we do all this cool techno-babbly stuff, that'll work. And then Mariner's going to look at him and be like, you're just ordering a drink from the bar. You don't have, no, stop. And that's what's going to be his shtick is he's going to be really good at engineering, and things outside of that, he's going to be maybe a little more nervous about. But I'm dubbing him the cinnamon roll of the series.
Yeah, Eugene definitely, he like fits the cinnamon roll. Look how cute he is with his bow tie. He looks like a sweetheart.
I want to know what happened to him in his accident too. Like, where did he get the implants? Why did he need the implants?
You mean the character? I was like, what?
Yeah.
Oh no, Eugene's beautiful, but Sam.
Yeah, why does he have it? Is it voluntary or where's he from? I want to know more.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, let's talk about our fourth and round out our Lower Decks cast. Noelle Wells is playing Ensign Devon Attendee and Orion. This is the first major Orion character in a cast of Star Trek.
I like where they're going with this because just, the whole background with Orions. And I hope they go into the story element of they're very much the polar opposite. Think Vulcans during Pon farr, but all the time.
But in the motion picture,
Delton.
What's
Ilea. That was Delton. She was Delton.
Aren't they the ones that are like the libido is 9,000 or something?
Well,
like
I don't know. I think the Deltons and Orions could probably give each other a run for their money. But you are correct.
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct about the Deltons. I'm not sure. I don't know where they are on that scale.
It seems like they're both suppressing. Both species are like suppressing their natural ways to kind of fit into the Federation. And if you think Eugene, I'm sorry, Sam is the cinnamon roll. She's the chicken tendy.
The chicken tendy.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
We're gonna foodify the whole cast.
Orions are like they at the beginning you thought that they were slaves, right?
Right, that's
like,
right.
When you see Captain Pike, the whole thing, of course that wasn't an illusion in the cage, but like you learn that it's based off of reality because Orion women are kept as slaves, right? Well, no. You then find out, I think it was Enterprise. I don't know. It was the Enterprise that they are actually controlling the whole thing and they're using their pheromones as mind control.
Yes. They dropped that bombshell on us.
Yeah. Which I think is fucking cool.
Oh, yeah.
But it's really cool to see her with like her side shave and her pixie cut. And I just think she's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see more of her. She's not like the stereotypical Orion in like the crocodile skin bikini, you know what I'm saying? Like,
not that there's anything wrong with that.
Let's talk a little bit about Noelle. She is from the great state of Texas. She began her career in 2010 with a slew of Crack.com and college humor skits. She was also on Saturday Night Live in the 2013-14 season. She's done Aquabats, Comedy Bang Bang, and Master of None. She released an album in 2019 called It's So Nice, and she's an avid photographer. She says of Tendi that she is unflappable, excited by everything, fresh-faced, and optimistic.
Okay.
Yeah. The writer, McMahon from Rick and Morty, describes her character as like how he would be if he ever got the chance to work on a starship. So we'll have to just see how
green around the gills.
Get. Probably.
So next up on our breakdown is the Bridge Crew.
Nice.
We've got Jack Ransom, Shax, Carol Freeman, and Dr. T'Ana. T'Ana looks a little rough. Or maybe a little meow. I don't know. She's a cat.
She's a street cat. Belongs in the streets.
Our captain is played by Dawn Lewis. Our captain is Captain Carol Freeman. Dawn Lewis was born in Brooklyn, and I didn't know this, but I have seen her since I started watching TV in the late 80s and 90s. She was Robin on Hanging with Mr. Cooper. She did 5 seasons on A Different World, and she was in the 1988 film I'm Gonna Get You, Sucka. She's voiced Storm in 3 Marvel video games. She was Granny Grimm on Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. She voiced Hermes' wife, La Barbara, in Futurama. She was also in Dreamgirls. And last year, she was the chief on Netflix's reboot of Carmen Sandiego.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff.
I didn't know that was a thing.
She says of Carol Freeman that this captain takes herself very seriously, very in control, very in charge, and her duty is very important to her. So I just want to know how she ends up doing stand-up comedy in front of the crew in her off hours, maybe. I don't know. This looks great, though.
She's like a mix of like Data and Janeway, I think. The stand-up.
Well, that's
a cool martini.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting dynamic to have your captain be someone that's laid back enough that they do a stand-up routine like that. See,
yeah, she's not commanding like the Enterprise.
Exactly.
She's like out to just have fun in space and explore. She's totally gonna do stand-up. That's perfect. That's perfect writing. I love it.
I'm living for it.
What
Next
did she do
up,
there in the second panel, though?
Oh, it looks like she's defending her crew with something. You can see
The
Boimler's
security
feet.
officer's behind her.
Well, yeah, but the security officer seems to be holding Boimler. You can see his feet coming up and over
Oh God.
there.
It's
So
true.
Boimler's been slimed somehow, and everybody looks afraid and defensive. So there's something that they're pointing their guns at, which I think
Yeah.
is going to be a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, side note. Well, not side note, really, just a note. But all of the main characters, the lower decks ensigns, they're in every episode, of course. But the bridge crew's only in one episode.
What?
So they're actually holding true to lower decks. Of course, you need the captain, the first officer, the security officer, the medical officer
Mm-hmm.
to kind of drive the plot. Like, you need them to make those big decisions. Like, within any piece of writing, you have to have plot drivers, and people with authority in Starfleet are able to do that. So you have them there existing, but they're only in one episode.
I'm
Very
just
interesting.
that's
Hmm.
I find that hard to believe that that's going to end up being the thing, and because I know that they're not the main cast, they're not what the show is about. But what would be the reason? What would be the reason for them only being in the one episode? That could be a discussion for another time, for when we do
We'll
the
see
first
when
episode.
the first episode. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll know then. I'm sure we see them in the first episode, I think. That or the last. I don't know. You want to take
Yep.
bets now? Place your wagers.
Oh, interesting.
So after Captain Carol Freeman, we have our first officer, but Jack here to remind me that his name's Jack.
Jack.
So I keep saying Zach, so his name's Jack, and he's jacked. You can see all these cool muscles. So Jack Ransom is our first officer. He's voiced by Jerry O'Connell, and you can see the likeness here. They're both pretty ripped. Jerry O'Connell, as everybody knows, has been in a whole lot of things. He was born in Manhattan. His very first role was in Stand By Me with Will Wheaton. He then starred in the TV shows My Secret Identity and Sliders with the heavy sci-fi bent. So he is no stranger to strange stuff.
Sliders.
Also, in addition to that, Jerry Maguire, Mission to Mars, and Scream 2 are under his belt. And he has voiced the DC Animated Universe's version of Captain Marvel, not to be confused with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's also married to Rebecca Romijn, who plays number 1 on Discovery and the upcoming Strange New Worlds. So you have him playing a number 1, married to a number 1, and they're also best friends with Jonathan Frakes, who's the original, well, the second number 1.
He is the second.
So that's
Major will always be number 1.
that's 3 number ones.
That's 3 number 1s. Wait, 3? Riker was right.
So that's 1 to the third power.
I think that's still 1.
That's still one.
Well, yeah. Okay. So what was the joke I was referencing there? I'll give you a hint. The original series, remember Kirk and the upper rank commodores and admirals. There was the court martial. Kirk was accused of killing this dude. They're on the bridge. They've got those listening things. They turned down the audio in the whole ship. And then, he said...
They get 1 heartbeat.
Yeah. And he said that we're going to enhance the audio to 1 to the 4th power. So, and that's still 1.
That's
Remember?
I do not.
I did not
Only
pick
you,
that
Big
up.
J.
That was so
I
good.
want you to remember that.
What a
damn.
great bit of trivia. I'm going to hand over my belt to
I think the
Big
episode
J.
was called Court Martial.
It was.
Yep. So look that one up. You like it. 1 to the 4th power.
So before we move on, Jerry O'Connell describes Mr. Ransom as William Riker if he was on speed and had less shame.
Wow.
So
I can't wait.
he's basically just the beefy first officer that every ship needs.
For 1 episode.
In the Comic-Con at home, Jerry adds that Ransom is not the easiest person to work for. He loves Starfleet, but he says and does things that some other shows can't get away with. We'll find out what that's all about in a couple of days. Our next officer is Fred. And I apologize ahead of time, but I do not know how to pronounce that name. And when I went looking for audio
Fred T.
pronunciations, they didn't pan out for me.
I think it's Tataskior.
Tataskior?
Tataskior.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah, we'll go with it.
We're going to call him
Oh
Fred.
shit, is he Bajoran?
Freddie T.
He's got the
Yes.
fucking ear.
Yeah. No, he looks like he is
Shax.
rough and tough and ready to go. I really kind of
Bajoran.
hope that like he like freed a Bajoran camp back during the
You
occupation.
fucking know he did. This is
Yeah,
2380.
like,
This is
He just busted in there
2380, so-
himself and just
Yeah.
raised heck.
Yeah.
You get the other half of that picture. You pointed it out with the captain, but here he is holding Boimler over his shoulder. His shirt's ripped. Fred is the most prolific voice actor of anybody else on the show. He's done voice acting for the Hulk. He was Saren in Mass Effect. Ooh. We kind of have a Mass Effect love here. He's also done Gears of War, StarCraft 2, Overwatch, and Destiny. He's been Megatron. He's done, he's done several voices for the Skylanders. I think there's a character named the Big Time. I don't play Overwatch.
Well, go back real quick. Do you have which series of Transformers he did the voice of Megatron? Is that they had tons of?
It's recent. It's like the last 2 or 3 television or cartoon shows that might be on
Soldier
Netflix.
76.
Oh, okay. So he's not.
Oh
the big
my
time.
god.
Yeah, it's way
That's
cool.
so cool.
And the thumbnail that I got for Fred here, it's a YouTube video where he's reenacting his voice Hulk smash. So I thought that was really great.
Yeah, awesome. I can't wait.
So he plays security
to hear
chief.
him.
He plays security chief Shaxus. I hope that's how you pronounce it.
Shaxus or Shax?
Shax. We'll find out.
Chief
And-
Shax.
And basically, Shax is a trigger happy fighter. He goes for it.
Oh yeah, he's fucking.
He's
ready to
like-
go.
He's like Worf during TNG. If Captain Picard had just said, "Okay, go,"
Right. You got
instead
it.
of just shooting him down all the time.
He's like basically the old version of Johnny Bravo.
And we can even put some sunglasses on him. That'd be okay.
Johnny Bravo.
The last member of the bridge crew from, I think, the regular, bridge crew is Jillian Vigman as our Cation Dr. Ta'ana. And first Cation since 1974 to be a part of the crew.
Nice.
Yeah, she was included as a reference to Mares.
Mm.
Mares. I don't know. how to say
But not the last time we saw Cations.
That's true. That was in 2013.
Yep. Saw a couple Cations and Into Darkness in Kirk's bed.
Mhm.
it. It's a different universe. We'll just say that.
Oh, come on.
I don't know if I think those are cations, but not to gatekeep.
So Jillian, Jillian's Wikipedia is interesting. It says that her most recognizable role is as Jack's wife in the Jack in the Box commercials.
No shit. Oh my god.
She was born in Morristown, New Jersey. She's worked on Second City and Mad TV. She did Sons and Daughters, Parks and Rec. She also was in The Hangover, The 40-Year-Old Virgin. And she has done a ton of commercials. And we're going to knock this out. Jack in the Box, Hanes, Splenda, Chase, eShirts, DirecTV, United Airlines, and Progressive. She says of Dr. Ta'ana that she is great as being a doctor. She has a gruff bedside manner. Grumpy cat, but loves to figure the problems out.
Do you
I
know
feel
who
like-
I am? I'm Mrs. Box. That's right. Mrs. Jack in the Box.
I feel like when you say
I
grumpy
was the
cat,
manager.
Is her first name Karen? Is her name
I'm
Karen
Mrs.
in the
Karen
box?
in the box.
isn't
Oh.
grumpy cat like saying two of the same thing?
Oh.
Like ATM machine.
Oh, shh.
Wait. Do you remember that Grumpy Cat meme? I'm kind of seeing it.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Seeing a little
yeah,
bit
Seeing it.
here
she's
now.
like the cat version of Bones.
If Bones were a cat.
Obviously.
I dig it.
Yeah.
Please, I would even accept it if they're like, yeah, this is Ta'ana, last name McCoy. I'd be like, aye, that's fine.
Whoa, buddy. Whoa.
Distant relative.
Whoa.
By adoption.
The fandom just went, no.
Right.
What do you think she got? What kind of trouble do you think she got herself into there? The same thing that we saw at Tendi. Or the Ryan girl.
Yeah,
she was covered in like that black goop.
Some kind of oil
That's the
slick.
same screenshot where they're defending.
Yes, it is.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
They were all in the same picture, so I just got lazy and cropped it in different places.
Still looks nice.
Yeah, she's clearly having to deal with this goo zombie thing, so we'll figure that out. I love
is a lovely woman, by the way. She does not look like that. That's a theater wig.
That's a lot of hair.
Is stunning. She's a stunning woman.
Agreed.
Yes.
One of the things that I like about this, and I love it, is because they brought back Dr. Crusher's lab coat.
Oh yes, yes.
That light blue lab coat is back. We haven't seen it since TNG, but it's
more
back.
Fitted, at least. There's not shoulder pads that we can see.
Shoulder pads went out in the 80s. Oh wait, it's the 2380s. Never mind.
I think that Kira Nerys just took shoulder pads and curb stomped them.
Yes.
Like that was the end for me.
Yeah, she got rid of them in the 7th season of DS9.
She had saddles on her shoulders. I mean, holy shit. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, if you had that big of a chip on your shoulder, you'd need reinforcement too.
You would need
like a hell of a piggyback.
Saddles for shoulders, yeah.
But yeah, I love the lab coat. I can't wait to meet this doctor. I'm so into like Trek medicine, which is basically magic. But it's like I can't wait to see all the new fun things we get, because now we can just animate it, and instead of having to build props or CGI things in, like it's gonna be cool. Can't wait.
I'm already like twitching. I'm like, please, Thursday, please come here now. So yeah, next up we have Paul Scheer, who has an undetermined number of commitments with the episode, but he plays Chief Engineer Andy Billups. Paul Scheer was born in New York. He's best known as Andrew from FX's The League. He's done a bunch of stuff on Adult Swim. He co-hosts the podcast How Did This Get Made? He's appeared on Veep and currently stars with Don Cheadle on Black Monday through Showtime. And he is Rutherford's boss.
Looks like a fun guy.
Who was the last character we had that had just a mustache?
He's so pale. I mean,
he's been on a starship for a long time.
He definitely works in an engineering.
He does.
In a starship in space.
Looks like a gym teacher.
Celestial vitamin D.
Character with just a mustache and Trek. I am not. I believe I want to say he's the first, because I am not coming up with anyone else.
Was Tom Selleck ever in?
No.
I'm just asking.
The last time I can remember anybody with just a mustache is a Fistful of Datas, when Brent Spiner was all of those cowboys.
Well, right. Yeah.
Tom Selleck beams aboard. I can help you refinance your house with reverse mortgage.
Where did he get a Hawaii
money anymore? Guess I got him a job.
How did he get a Hawaiian print uniform?
Where can I get one? That reminds me of that guy from Trek RP.
Oh no!
Yes. What was his name?
I don't remember.
Matt Jackson.
Oh,
he
the
wore
funny
like
guy.
Hawaiian shirts on duty. That was the funniest shit.
Oh man. Okay, so for some of you who might have been following along, Watney and I are veterans of Trek RP on Reddit. And there is a guy who writes these hilarious columns of in-universe hilarity, and his name is Matt Jackson.
He's Matt Jackson, and he's displaced from 1970s. And in his free time, he likes to woo Dr. Pulaski or versions of her, and Dr. Crusher. You see kind of what I'm getting at. He's quite eccentric. He's a lovely character. He would only show up like once in a blue moon. But anyway, how do we even get on this?
That
Hawaiian
was a side.
shirts on the deck.
I had to go Magnum PI, and that just.
Yeah, straight.
What's that meme where there's like cars on the freeway and it's like the podcast and the sidebar?
Sidebar.
Car goes on 2 wheels to get off the exit.
that distracted boyfriend meme. I should be doing the RP.
Yep. Please do not get these 2 started on Trek RP. We'll be sitting here for an hour talking about roleplay.
So let's bring this back to something pretty.
Perfect.
We are going to talk about the uniforms of lower decks.
Okay.
Now the big cool thing here is that these uniforms are explicitly stated to be derived from the abandoned uniforms that were proposed for Star Trek Generations. For some of you, you may not know, but these uniforms were actually, a couple of them were made. Mm-hmm. The designs were given to the Playmate toy line, who actually created the Star Trek Generations characters from Next Generation with these uniforms. So if you go back and you look at the toy line for the Generations action figures, they're wearing these uniforms instead of the uniforms that you see in the movie.
I had some of those.
And it's way cool. And what you can see is that there is a flap here on each of the uniform divisions. The rank pips were on the chest here in the lower decks. They're preserved on the neck. You get some of that color on the neck too. Mm-hmm. That yoke is maintained. There is a white stripe there. And then the communicator badges lack any kind of background. Mm-hmm. And then this waistline here, it's kind of pointed and forward.
Yeah.
And the boots have a color sort of thing to them that I think that's pretty fitting for. Yeah, I think it's pretty fitting for a cartoon to do that, to have that call out of this division thing, especially if you have a scene that like closes in on the boots or somebody's walking by while someone's laying on the floor. Mm-hmm. You just sort of know who's there.
Yeah, you want to be able to say, I mean, in some when you're talking about like from a writing perspective, it can be useful and it can also be a detriment, because if you want to create mystery, you want to have the uniforms on the left if you're just seeing legs. But if you want to actually inform the audience, you would want the uniforms on the right. If you're a clever writer, you can figure out how to do it. But I don't actually like these uniforms a whole lot. I'm a fan of the onesies. I know.
From season 1 and 2 of TNG?
Well, DS9, those were onesies, right? Mm-hmm. Voyager.
With the color on top. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think my favorite uniforms are the wartime uniforms in DS9 with the grayish purple.
Like what I'm wearing? With
the color. Yeah. And
exactly
then the Voyager uniforms, which also heavily mimic the Picard cadet. Maybe not cadet, maybe enlisted. Maybe officer.
No, you were right. It was cadet.
All the uniforms are that way because we see Rios wearing them too.
Well, he was, but then like more like commander officers, or maybe it was just the dress uniforms that had like the extra like fancy stuff going on. But I love the Picard uniforms too. I think they did a great job on that. I'm just not a fan of the pants with the shirt, but I do like the kind of like button over of it. Like it's not like a straight zipper, like it folds over. It has like the collar line going diagonal. It's nice. It's just not. I think it'll have to grow on me. But I think this is kind of the idea that every show gets their own uniform.
Right. Yeah, they get their own look, their own unique look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, white shoes for the Doctor. That's gonna be messy. I'll just tell you right now. White shoes, really, in a med bay.
Just chuck them in the replicator and make another pair.
Gonna get messy. Yeah.
Computer replicate bleach, please.
There is biogenic interference. Takes guts out of the shoe, back in. All right. This is the part that I'm waiting for most because I think all the beauty shots for things like this are great, but the USS Cerritos is in a beauty class all of its own. And while its design aesthetic kind of deviates from what we're used to with a saucer section connected to a secondary hull that holds the warp nacelles, this one seems to be like what happened if a Galaxy class and an Oberth popped out a new kind of ship.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The whole how the hell do you get from
Pretty
the
close to the Oberth
saucer section to the secondary hull sort of thing.
Yeah, and I do like that the saucer section is nostalgic from the Enterprise D or the Galaxy Quest. It is a little bit rounder than the Enterprise D.
The Galaxy
but
class.
That deflector dish, the
Galaxy class.
deflector dish is also reminiscent of the Galaxy class as well.
It's almost exactly like an Oberth, except for the Oberth. It's a sovereign version of the Oberth class.
It's kind of upside down
And I'm
because
not
on the
even
Oberth,
a ship nerd. Like I don't really pay attention to ship classes, but to me, that's what that says. It's a sleek version because the Oberth has like this huge, like, second hull,
secondary hull.
a secondary hull underneath, and like this kind of like mimics that. It's like the deflector dish. You think that there's probably like room for people in the back of that because you have to get there for like repairs and stuff.
Yeah, you've got to be able to get to like deflector control or
main engineering is down there.
You have to be able to modify the deflector to do anything the plot desires and needs.
I do kind of feel like it would be efficient for them to have main engineering be down there as well.
That's got to be.
Just because, with the power relays going through those struts to the nacelles.
Separate the saucer. It's just the arms not holding anything up.
Oh, that's gonna look so ugly. There's got to be turbo lifts going through those pylons, but still, that's just
Turbo
odd.
lifts don't just go up and down.
I know they go up and down, left and right, curves, diagonal.
No, see, that's what I'm saying is there's one turbo lift pod that's held by a tractor beam, and it just occasionally leaves the ship and goes down to the secondary hull. And then it leaves the ship and comes back up, and there's just a tractor beam that
in the middle
tethers
of
it back and forth.
Pew, pew, pew.
Do you realize the odds of a blaster shot flying through this thing? We are tiny. Pew! Hold your breath.
Just, like flex seal the vacuum.
A little smack.
Yeah, maybe this design will grow on
They should
us.
hire us. I'm just saying.
The USS Cerritos is a California class.
Oh my god!
And she's designed for second contact. She's responsible for doing all of the setup and infrastructure after a first contact has been made. Among other things, it's their job to figure out where all the good restaurants are. And I just want to confirm for everybody, continuity-wise, this is 2380. It is 1 year after Star Trek Nemesis.
Ooh.
Yep. So we've got hopefully plenty of opportunity for references from DS9, Voyager time, because it's fresh, basically. You've got a lot of characters to possibly mention or to bring in. Who knows where it's going to go with that?
It's great that you said that because Kurtzman and McMahon both said that the fans need to expect a lot of jokes and references to previous things.
Okay.
They even went so far to say that, like, even if you're not so into Star Trek, you might find the jokes funny, but fans are going to get them.
Okay, good.
He says that this show is going to pay tremendous homage to the animated series of the 70s to make it even more canon than it was before. So for anybody who's on the sidelines about the animated series, it's officially canon. It happened. It was weird and janky, but I am praying that we run across the Phylosian planet so we get a 60-foot tall Spock.
Oh, period.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Make it so.
Yeah, you could get like some scores going on. I like the burb
Oh,
voice
yeah.
because like it's really hard and live action.
I'm glad.
Score because they're fucking huge. They're big ass birds. You know the giant golden eagle from Rescuers Down Under?
Yes.
Imagine that on a starship.
Oh, geez.
But like the actual size. That's a score. Like they're fucking huge.
We're gonna need a bigger ship.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm glad that they are establishing and will be firmly ensconced in this is canon. This is in the prime timeline. There's no room for doubt here. And I felt like Picard really did that, because the naysayers will say that, well, if I don't like this, then that means it's in an alternate universe. This is not in the prime timeline because of XYZ. And in Picard, they made so many references to past events that it was hard to try to take that stance of, well, Picard isn't in the same timeline as the next generation because I said so. It is. And I felt like they really hammered home so many of these things just to make it like there's no doubt here. Our intention is this is in the prime timeline, and so is Lower Decks. So is this series, and we're going to really firmly canonize the animated series from the 70s.
Absolutely. And I love how
There's
backgrounds.
weird shit that happened there. Okay, that means Satan is real,
Yeah, oh yes, better believe it.
which I'm fine with. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Oh, the can of worms. It's been opened. It's like Pandora's can of worms.
We should do a whole episode on what's canon now.
The Canon of Worms.
The segment is just called "What's Canon Now." It's just like the dumb shit.
Right.
What's worse, 60-foot tall Spock or Satan?
Mm.
Voyager, demons are real, and at least one of them wants to eat your soul.
No one's going to bring up the Pilgrim with the magic powers that Kirk had to fight with. Me, come on, if we're going to go there.
All I'm going to say is Gorn.
Boy.
That's it. That's the truth.
Okay.
Gorn. No, I'm kidding.
Gorn with the wind.
Gorn with the wind.
Oh,
In a world.
Hey, frankly, my dear, I don't really care. It's cool.
Second Contact. What a dumb job.
So yeah, the
But it's
implication
also
is
fun.
that like Second Contact, the idea is that Second Contact ships have always been around. It's just that the audience has always seen like the First Contact level vessels. We've always been with the Enterprise. We've always been with, you know, a DS9. That was like the forefront of the Dominion War. Voyager's whole thing was getting back home. We didn't get to see any of their, you know, they might have been a Second Contact ship for all we know. But Janeway handled it beautifully and got them back home. So I'm interested in seeing what they want to do with this Second Contact stuff, because the creator of the show has apparently been like headcanoning Second Contact ideas as long as he's been a fan, and he is a big fan of the show. That was the reason why Kurtzman even asked him to do the thing, because he had demonstrated to Kurtzman a passion for Star Trek. And a lot of people are going to be like, well, we know what Kurtzman's passion for Star Trek is like. I'm like, let this happen, because it looks good so far, and I'm here to give it a chance, because I always give Trek a chance. And I'm ready for silly Trek, like you said at the beginning.
I'm ready for
this.
It'll be fun. Picard was so serious and so.
Well, Trek's always been serious.
So high. I know, but like in a save the universe way,
right?
Save this Enterprise way, yeah. Save the Federation way, yeah. But like the stakes of the La Serena are. You got to save literally reality, or at least this universe,
this galaxy,
this galaxy. And so Picard was so serious, and I really loved our reviews of Picard and the character stuff we got into, but I'm expecting just as much of interest with us three with Lower Decks. I think it's
Sure.
going to be really fun. It's going to be a nice break, and
We need a Star Trek version of a show about nothing.
yeah,
I mean, it's. I think we need that break where the stakes aren't high. There's no stakes. Like there's nothing at risk really. It's just a bunch of screwing around. I don't mind that kind of break in a show. I really think we're going to have just as much, to chew on and drama. Oh yeah, I'm here. Just like Dag said, I'm here to give it a chance.
But because it is the least important ship with the least important crew, doing the least important job, the stakes are not going to be galactic. And
Exactly.
I am excited for that. I think it's going to be very episodic, and I miss that about TNG.
Yep.
So that's how I feel.
It's beautiful. If you're still listening to us, Lower Decks begins its broadcast on August 6th in the US on CBS All Access. You can find it in Canada on the same evening on Bell Media. It'll also be on CTV, Sci-Fi, Z in French, before streaming on Crave. At this time, outside of the US and Canada, the best that can be hoped for is literally hope. No word on when this show is going to break internationally. But we really hope that it happens soon because I don't want to have to be blocked from spoilers on Twitter forever. Yeah,
Just
so
don't use the hashtag. That'd be fun.
Yep.
hashtag spoilers. Hey, tell us what you are most looking forward to on Lower Decks. If you're still listening, hit us up wherever you want to. Where is that one?
And I'll tell you. So if I don't know how you're listening to us, but you can also watch us. We have a YouTube. Check us out. We like to film ourselves and show you some fun slides and screenshots and just some info on the screen while we talk about whatever we talk about on the episode. So check us out on YouTube, Beyond Trek Productions. You also might be listening to us, and you can find we're hosted on anchor.fm/Beyond Trek Podcast. And from Anchor, we're syndicated to all major podcast platforms.
Yep. All of them.
We, of course, have all of them. We also have a Patreon. We would love if you could support us there at patreon.com/Beyond Trek. We have some really fun tiers and some cool things for our supporters there. We are super active on Twitter at Beyond Trek Pod. Thank you, Dag. He's our Twitter fiend. So if you're talking to us on Twitter, it's most likely him. And then, of course, we always have a Facebook, facebook.com/Beyond Trek Productions. Like us there. Say hello, please. We want to hear from you.
And please give us, be here with us for moral support as we begin 23 straight weeks of Star Trek between Lower Decks and season 3 of Discovery. So yeah, it's got to get the game face on. It's going to be a hell of a marathon. Oh yeah.
Can't wait.
And Beyond Trek is going to be right there with you every week for the next 23 weeks. Stay cool out there. Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.
Bye.
We are Beyond Trek Podcast. Lower your inhibitions and surrender your years. We will add inspirational and hilarious Trek content to your day. Your attention will adapt to subscribe to us. Resistance is futile.